Okay.
All right. Before we start the show, then, now that I have this platform, I want to come out and say this is episode 3.
Yeah.
Episode 3. I watched episode 1. I need to make it very clear.
Oh my God.
These couches are terrible.
Yeah. This is how you're starting this off?
These couches are so bad because, especially if you're a short king like me, because you got to put your ass all the way back.
You say you're a short king,
and
my guy?
look at my feet. If I want to look not like Jabba the Hutt, if I want to sit up straight, my feet.
Why you gotta
Liam, I think my feet touch the ground just fine.
Style, so you're not
Wait,
hanging
how tall are you?
Swinging.
I'm 5'7".
Oh,
wait, 5'7.5".
Dude, you give off 5'10" energy, bro.
I give off 5'10" energy. It's the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me.
But you might be 5'5" in real life. If
I love this. You gotta get one so they can see on the camera. All right, y'all.
Nice.
Come on, King.
Nice.
Flamin' Hot, guys. Let's start with what we were talking about this before the cameras were rolling. What's your experience, your background with Flamin' Hot Cheetos?
Well, can I say real quick that Flamin' Hot Cheetos has created my number one ick. What's your number one ick? One pet peeve.
Is it Cheeto Fingers?
Cheeto Fingers. And then it's when the girl or the guy will then have them and they're just dusted. And then do
and then do the full on.
I can't look. I cannot look.
That's the best part.
That's the best part. I love how it tastes on my fingers.
Oh my God.
You don't let it just all accumulate on your fingers.
Oh my God.
I'm with Liam here.
It's so gross. It's so gross.
You're not a true hot Cheeto eater.
Sometimes I throw a little lemon on it just to give it like a little savory
even
extra
Dua
taste.
Lipa does it.
The hard day of work.
Babe,
here's the thing. Here's the thing.
way that
Liam
you
and
just
I
tried to
both
insert yourself dating Dua Lipa.
It's fine.
Manifest away, King.
Liam could get Dua Lipa if he wanted to. He is a fine young man.
Thank you.
He's got a strong jawline.
Have you seen Dua Lipa's boyfriend?
Dua Lipa has a boyfriend?
I bet you have.
Fucking sexy French director.
Oh.
He was at the Cannes
Did he even live in you?
No, I wish.
Isn't he like
Should
50
be.
something?
Hold on, not to get off subject really quick.
But we are off.
So you lick your fingers after every bite of Cheetos?
No, I will,
doesn't.
If I
wears gloves 'cause he's
I'll
sterile.
wear a glove.
No, you won't.
I'll use chopsticks, or I'll
You're
have a little
embarrassing.
paper towel.
Stop it.
Take
Get
a
off
bite.
the pod.
Were you made fun of often as a kid in school, or was that just now?
That's like
I
a
am not
crime.
ratchet.
Chopsticks
You would get
in a
bullied.
napkin put down for your Cheeto for
Yeah,
is
because
not,
I don't want to leave paw prints everywhere I go.
That's the
Such an animal.
You guys,
Paw prints.
you guys, that's the white.
I need to know
Liam
how you
right
guys
there.
are eating your Cheetos.
Okay,
Now
so
I need to know how do you eat
I was
your.
actually going to bring that up because Liam and I were talking about how we both didn't like hot Cheetos growing up.
Yeah.
And that's got to be the white in us.
Yeah.
I didn't
Now-
like it. I didn't like them either.
Oh, okay.
See?
Yeah.
Well, then
if we
I
could
feel
take a
much
minute
better.
away from Dua Lipa's platform over here, I can also answer the question, which is. Which is, I don't like Flamin' Hot Cheetos.
Okay, so we're all in the same basket here.
I loved growing up. I ate those every weekend movie night, every Friday night. Hot Cheetos, a whole bag with lime squeezed on them.
And here's the thing: it wasn't about the heat because like we all ate spicy food growing up. It wasn't about the heat at all. It was about like something about that flavor.
It felt fake.
It felt fake.
Yeah.
It felt.
Do you guys like puffs, like Cheeto puffs?
Oh, puffs are far superior to crunchy.
See, that's a problem for me. Like, if we're like the texturally puffs are like to me what we're talking about. Flamin' Hot Cheetos. It's just like that, too chippy, too.
No, puffs melt in your mouth.
I love puffs.
Yeah.
Cheeto puffs.
Puffs during the
those
summer in the
leave your
pool?
fingers
Oh my
red.
god, dude! A puff pool party? Are you
my
kidding me?
God.
I feel like you guys are in
God, bring me
conflict.
back.
The fact that you don't like Cheetos and like puffs is beyond me because I
Hot
feel like
Cheetos. It's hot Cheetos for me.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
yeah.
hot
I'll
Cheetos.
eat
Okay.
crunchy Cheetos,
No,
puffs.
I thought we
I'll
were
eat 'em.
talking about hot Cheeto puffs.
Do they
Hot
make
Cheeto
hot
puffs.
Cheeto
Yeah, they
puffs?
do.
Oh,
We
yeah,
got them
they're
on the
right
You
table.
never had hot Cheeto
We
puffs?
have them literally in front of me.
So full like
You gotta try it now.
I'll try them right now.
we ended up buying like we were like okay
them
this is our Flamin' Hot episode so we popped out like a whole bunch of and it's very easy to find. There's like Flamin' Hot everything. I'm mad because they did not
That
have
is true.
Flamin' Hot Mountain Dew, which I saw in the movie and I was like, wait,
I think it was a limited edition thing. These are Flamin' Hot Puffs.
I've never had a Flamin' Hot
This
puff.
is a
Here we go.
Me Too on movies.
We promised you guys were going to talk
Premiere.
about
Cheeto
them.
review.
The premiere. This is like I guess not. It's like more like a Mike T's mouth premiere. First time he's
I
ever
never
had
want to
hot
be there.
Flamin' Hot Puffs.
I would never
I
want to
like
be
how you
A
branded
moment
it
of
for
silence
yourself.
for the ASMR. Hold on. No. We have to hear a crunch. ASMR, please.
Okay, hold on. I got you.
That was beautiful.
Disgusting.
That was
Sorry.
beautiful. Now I want one. Pass it over here.
I'm gonna give this on the on the Me Too on Movies rating scale, this is definitely a 3.5.
Out of
Entertained out of 5. Entertained and almost impressed.
Really?
What do you give
Yeah.
the regular ones?
Regular hot Cheetos?
Yeah.
I like the lemon flavor.
I give a solid 3.
Yeah.
Just entertained.
I just don't think I like chips, truthfully. it's just like a lot of stuff in my mouth.
These are so good.
You know how I know?
Fair question.
So, for those of you that don't know, our very own Jasmine, currently in a Bud Light commercial.
Yes.
You know how I know Jasmine's a
Bud Light
professional
queen.
commercial actress? It's because she's holding the bag with the brand to camera. Like, I love Flamin Hot Cheetos by Frito Lay PepsiCo.
This is not sponsored, by the way.
This is not
This is
sponsored.
not sponsored.
That's why
Sponsor
she's
us.
giving the most work. She's a
Unlike
hard
this
worker.
movie, which was very sponsored.
Yeah.
Here, hide the bag. They're
Yeah.
not sponsoring.
Yeah,
I'll take
let's,
So
Let's-
I think we're
let's-
ready.
yeah,
And I'm just
let's
Can
go
somebody
into
help me
the
with my mic? This is
go into the background a little
This
bit of
is
this. So
wild.
this movie,
Yeah.
I think it started getting made I think this is a pre-pandemic movie as well.
Yeah.
It started getting developed back in like 18, 19, I think.
2021 is like when I first saw Eva Longoria and like is set to
officially
direct
attached. Okay,
this,
okay.
and that's right around the time that we also got a LA Times article.
You know what? You're right. I'm wrong. I'm thinking of when Richard Montañez retired, and when So
Well,
he
it's a-
retired in 19, and then this story got really popular, and then in 21, you're
Wow.
right.
So essentially, the story is about Richard Montañez, who went from being a janitor at the Frito Lay's company to working his way up to vice president. And the cool hook of the film and the cool hook of just the story in general is this idea of this is a man who also proclaimed to have created and brought to Frito Lay's attention the Flamin' Hot
This
chips.
the Flamin' Hot Dust.
Look at it. It's
Can't
so
look
sexy
at
in
it.
your hand.
I don't want to ick out. I don't want to ick out
can't
Liam.
look at
Ick him out. You want to sit next to him?
You know what? I'm just gonna. There you go, Liam. Liam
So-
for you.
Dare
Thank you
you
so much.
disrespect?
So,
Wow.
Eva Longoria picks up this
Disrespect.
movie, and Hulu is distributing it, and it's coming out. It's coming out today. So if you guys are watching this, you could watch the movie, but
You
you
either
could watch
already
us.
saw
That's
it
amazing.
because you're a diehard fan and
yeah.
you waited till midnight to watch it.
And it's pretty culturally, like, I'm really excited because I mean, working here at Me Too, I always kind of feel like I get like more of a Latino news digest every day, and so it has been really cool to just be like we got people in it who we've worked with who are in
Yeah,
this film,
that's
like
true.
Scar
to
from Cholo
Scar.
Tries, yeah,
Even if we haven't worked with them directly, there's like, I mean, the Latino Film Network, I feel like is very, it's a small world.
Yeah,
so
you
like
got-
the writer of this film, actually, Linda Yvette Chavez, I believe,
Yeah.
she co-created Hentified with Marvin Lemus, who used to do a bunch of freelance director work for
Wow.
Me Too. So it's all connected.
And there's a lot of
Yes.
great names in here, but I also love the influencer kind of aspect of this. You got Bryce Gonzalez, who is of the Inky Boys, of
Bryce the
who plays the
Dice.
little boy in this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's so
And so
cute.
so here's the film that
He's
is supposed to
very
be
cute.
kind of the autobiographical, wow, am I doing this again? The autobiographical
This is a little.
film telling about how Richard Montañez went from being a janitor to this
from the
flamin'
bottom.
hot entrepreneur
Now
of
he's
sorts.
here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which leads to a little bit of criticism because then once this movie got announced that it was being made, LA Times decided to do some digging, and they did some digging. It led to Frito Lay's doing an investigative report as well, kind of really saying like, did this man, make this story that what happened is that a lot of people of the company were like, well, I was here during this time and I never really heard it.
Yeah.
The company's official stance is, this is I think they call it an urban myth
legend.
or urban
Yeah.
legend. And I love that, though. There is something to be said about the value of commercialism that they are like, well, this movie's getting made and this seems like free promo.
I was just
for
gonna
us.
say.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: is that let's say Richard Montañez is a total liar and that none of it was true. But I feel like if none of it was true, I don't feel like Frito Lay would be like okay with this movie. So I feel like parts of it are true.
I think that they just Hollywooded it out like they do
Yeah,
all
like they do
movies.
all
So they're
true
exaggerating on everything. Like, were all those people really? You know, I don't
I
want
mean,
to.
but and I will say, like, I think Eva does, and maybe it's Eva, a little bit of Yvette. There's a little bit of good storyline here because the movie's format, and I think we can get into this safely without kind of spoiling
Yeah,
it.
we're still in the pre-spoiler section. You guys are safe if you haven't seen
For now.
Flamin' Hot.
For
For
now.
now. We're coming for you though.
But the movie, the movie is very much a rags to riches story. It is very much, here is this man who's going to narrate his story. So I like that we already get the subjective standpoint of this story, which kind of alleviates us having to be so beholden to like an objective, factual standpoint.
Yeah. It kind of sets up the whole unreliable narrator. Like, maybe not everything is legit, but it's fun.
And he has moments, and Eva does a great job of having moments where it's like, this is how he wants us to go, and then this is maybe how it actually
this
went.
is what it was like in his mind.
Yeah.
Now, is it still in the context of this man created the Flamin' Hot?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Up for debate, maybe.
I don't have a problem with that, though. To be told, the way that this movie was told was really entertaining. I felt like we were watching a really good story of like, not really good, like a really good story of here's what happens when you just freaking don't say I quit. Here's what happens when you're just like naive enough to just keep going.
Wow, you just blew my mind.
Yay.
Because like that is at a certain point, that is what like being a dreamer or like determined is. It's being naive enough, like just naive enough to think like, I mean, damn. It is hard. It is hard not to talk about spoilers.
Yeah.
Because I was about to spoil something.
Well, it's so easy to. We know how it ends.
Yeah, we know that he is successful because look at all this stuff.
I think we can talk a little bit, and let's talk about this movie in parts. Which the first part of this movie has, it's talking a lot about like what he came from before Frito Lay's, and
it's talking a lot about what he came from.
Yeah,
like we'll get more into that, but like I feel like for a movie called Flamin' Hot, it took a long time to get to the Flamin' Hots.
I would like to just contend with you, Mike, and I'm very excited to duke this out with you whenever the time comes. But truthfully, like, what do you expect from a movie? And don't get me wrong, our off-screen producer was just like, have you watched Air? And I was like, chill the freak out, bro. No, it is like, I know he's looking at me now.
He just looked over the monitor. He just shot up.
Because truthfully, like, this had to be a character story. This is a movie about a Latino man who was able to do something in a mainstream big company, and that is like the vibe of the story. So I do think like for us to champion him, you kind of have to see his story as opposed to the Frito Lay story.
Yeah.
And I get that, but I feel like I wanted to get to the Flamin' Hot faster, and I feel like no matter who the character is, like technically, like you could have done this with Luke Skywalker, where it's like, what is the big moment of Luke Skywalker's life? It's when he meets Obi-Wan and gets called on this adventure. Yeah. So like, imagine if instead of that happening in the first 20 minutes, which it does in Star Wars, imagine if the first hour was like showing Luke's farm boy life, and then you're like, what?
I mean,
I thought this was about stars
maybe we
and
would
war.
have a stronger protagonist in either Luke or Anakin because they both end up being stupid F-boys in
Luke
the
is not a stupid fuck boy. I mean,
what?
Luke disappears like 5,000 times throughout the freaking series. He's never there when you need him.
Because he loves his friends. He's going to save his friends.
Okay, guys.
We'll talk about that. We'll do
like
a Star
Obi-Wan
Wars
Kenobi.
episode.
This is like the same.
Just wait, but
we love an absentee protagonist figure in our storylines.
I think they did good by going with the origin of the person who created it. Like it's more so about the origin, right?
So much
it
origin.
Started with
Jasmine.
Hey, stop mansplaining.
You need
Mike.
backstory.
Can you just let Jasmine have the mic for a second?
You need backstory.
That's a Flamin' Hot.
yeah.
Spicy,
bad, doesn't it?
Making it spicy.
Spicy take.
I'm just saying, you got to start somewhere. I think, to give that backstory, what brought him to that point. You have to see all the struggle before the good part comes. You want, what good is a story without all the struggle that you see, all the plot that you see them go through?
And let's talk backstory, because there's a couple of things that get known about him is his relationship with his father.
Yeah.
His how much of what situation he's in, and we get to see a little bit of Cholo culture earlier on in this film.
Yeah.
We get to see a lot of there's a little reference to, I think, this idea of what happens when minorities are not really looked on to do anything big with their lives, and so they're expected to do bad things like go to jail, and so that's kind of played with loosely on here. I do like that there's more of I like it, and I also recognize that it does kind of take away a little bit of truth away from the process, which is this has a sitcom kind of nature to the way that it's filmed.
I like the tone overall. Yeah. I know.
Very George Lopez show, very like Lopez versus I mean, I'm naming George Lopez shows right now. We have more. But I don't personally think that's a problem, because I think there's a lot of culture steeped in this that I think is allowed to flow through because of that. Like, we do get, again, the subjective nature of him narrating the storyline already gives me a really nice, funny tone about who he is, how he sees himself. He's kind of messy. He's kind of a rough around the edges guy, but he listens. He knows how to listen to his wife. Judy is another big component of his story.
Ride or die.
I
is
want
the
this whole movie to be about Judy.
I want to watch the Judy movie. Honestly,
Liam fell in love
smokes.
with Judy.
who didn't fall in love with
I
Judy?
love
She is a
Judy.
real one.
You know what's interesting is that you said this thing about sitcom a couple times now, but then the sitcoms you mention are like
I know.
Lopez vs. Lopez, George Lopez Show,
Hentified, I would
this
bring
fool,
up.
Hentified.
This fool.
I feel like maybe we think that because
what we're
sitcoms
used
are the
to
only
seeing.
place that we've seen Latino stories.
Yeah.
Like
Point.
now that I think about it, I haven't seen like. Sometimes I feel. Do you guys remember the movie Love, Simon?
Yes.
So I remember that movie came out, and my roommate at the time was a gay man, and I remember it was a big deal for him, obviously. And we were both film people, and I was like, "Look, like I don't want to take away from this, but am I crazy? Like I thought it's like it's like 2018. Hasn't there been a lot of gay rom-coms?" And he was like, "Name one," and I was like,
Wow.
and I couldn't. And I was like, oh, wow. Like, I feel like because of things like TV and social media and YouTube, like, we might get a bunch of this media, but there's something special about the big screen. There's something about getting a feature film. And it's like, we have all of this Latino representation right now, but it's mostly in TV.
Yeah.
I am
And
curious.
it's not like, boom, here's a movie.
Yeah.
We could be exposing my bias. Like, it's one of those things where I just think that period piece sitcoms have, like, even like Fresh Off the Boat, have this like this dreamy way of looking at a family dynamic.
Yeah.
And actually, I would say that about white sitcoms as well. It's like this dreamy
Goldbergs,
period,
yeah,
Goldbergs,
yeah.
and that's what I think is pretty uniform across this film. Is that
Yeah.
it kind of looks like all of those.
Very much so. Yeah. But it's nice that it's a film. It's nice that it's like.
It's like
feature.
Selena. It's like that's how I feel about like Selena the series. I feel like it got a lot more of a family centric. I think it's more of a family centric
Yeah.
tone to it. And I will say,
Yes.
it's actually one of my favorite parts about this film is how much the family has to come to play for this to work out in the father's favor
Yeah.
throughout the film.
Even because there's a lot of focus on the young son.
but the
So
older,
cute.
Ugh,
But the older son, and he even
Bryce,
comes into play.
we
Yeah.
love you.
Bryce, fan club right here.
Yes.
Can we talk about spoilers now?
I know. Well,
How long has it been?
Well, let's get through respectfully. We're gonna get through this movie a little bit so that we can then hop around.
All right.
Because we are true movie reviewers, and
We are.
Yes. So we get the background. We kind of get the setup of the pieces, which is you guys want spoilers.
No. Keep going.
We get the background. We get this idea that he is, because of his Latinidad, because of how he grew up socioeconomically, his father involved in things like that, it's a little harder for him to take care of his family. He gets a family before he can even like really process, before he can support them. And then we get this golden opportunity, which comes in the way of him getting this job to work at Frito Lay's. And what I love, and also what I kind of distracted about that, is here is a man who we see completely has the entrepreneur gene down, from like burritos in the beginning
Yeah.
to he's this is where I'm like, spoiler, not spoiler, but we see that he's had an entrepreneurial spirit from a young kid age.
Yeah.
As most Mexicans do.
Hustler.
Hustle, that hustle culture. Yeah.
It's really beautiful. And then,
You drinking a Coke?
oh my God.
This guy is drinking a Coke on camera. This is a PepsiCo,
Not the Coke.
Frito Lay production, my man.
Foul, party foul.
I'm so
Do you see
sorry.
any Coke products on this table?
I'm so sorry.
there
That's your
is a
second
Coke
strike,
and Pepsi.
buddy.
Okay, so did you guys know about this real life Coke and Pepsi marketing fight that is
challenge?
The challenge.
What's it called? The blind taste test?
A little bit of that, but apparently like Pepsi and Coke had this kind of big rivalry that does
Yeah.
get highlighted in this
Yeah.
film, which I was really fascinating to learn about. I loved getting the Cholo translator version
for all
of that
this stuff.
story.
Yeah, that was very cool.
I guess that speaks to me. I guess let's talk big picture, because I know you guys want to get into spoilers, and like let's do this. Big picture from a story standpoint of view, which is this rags to riches story of a man who takes this opportunity to work at a company, gets taught by all the people. He's literally everywhere. He's like, I want to learn every facet of this job, which to your point, hella, I think like immigration or
Hella
immigrant
Latino.
culture.
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
very-
Mentality.
Latinos have to go out of their way to teach themselves and find ways around it because they don't have all of the, privilege.
Opportunity, yeah.
So how'd you guys feel about the representation in this film?
I mean, I think
our lead as an actor, I was into it. I feel like
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
kind of carried the tone.
Yeah, he really
and
He was great.
And
He was
if
fantastic.
it wasn't him and someone slipped up, I feel like this movie may have not worked as well.
Yeah.
I think he was able to like anchor the storyline, the hustle. He was
Yeah.
able to tap into all these different like modes that probably the real character had to.
Yeah.
But still being funny and like giving us bits, giving us the voiceover. So in terms of representation of like our lead, I was happy with this guy. It was cool. I mean, we know a lot of people in the movie.
Yeah, shout out Scar.
And they're actually casting people. Eva Longoria is at least doing the work to make sure that everyone who is a part of like, you know, I don't know if behind the camera, but in front of the camera is actually in the culture, about the culture.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm like.
Should we tell them how Scar actually got casted on this in case they didn't watch the other episode?
So Scar is one of the cholos that you guys get to see from the very beginning. He's driving the car outside of Richard's house from the very beginning. We see him at the end being a big part of basically a fun marketing push.
Guerrilla marketing.
He has
Yeah,
a
yeah,
tattoo
yeah.
on his.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
He has a tattoo.
tell us, girl, because Scar told you
Well,
exclusively.
yeah, I don't know any of this. Yeah.
So we were doing the So Extra episode with Scar, Liam, and I, and we were in the back of the SUV heading to Taco Bell, and we were asking him about the movie, and he mentioned that he got casted through Cholo's Try.
Yeah.
Well, not Eva Longoria hand chose him because she watched Cholo's Try, Mitú's Cholo's Try on YouTube,
I was
right?
like, I like that guy.
And she's like, yeah, I want that guy. So he was basically
From our videos.
Dude,
Me
Me
Too,
Too
yeah.
is like,
Mitú put him on.
it's like the 6 degrees from Kevin Bacon. In the
Yeah.
Latino filmmaking world, it all comes back to Me Too, baby.
100%.
Also, Jasmine, you mentioned something called So Extra. Is
So
that a new
Extra.
television show that's going to be on Me Too TV?
It's coming, guys.
Oh,
Get ready
wow.
for it.
And let me tell you,
Synergy, cross
it's
promotion,
extra.
Frito Lay.
Yeah. And Scar will be
that's
our
dope.
first guest talent on that one.
Yeah.
That is dope.
And
I
he'll
had
talk
no
a little bit
idea.
about the Flamin Hot Cheetos film.
Yeah.
Dope. But yeah, I think representation wise,
Yeah.
we
I loved seeing all those Latinos,
Yeah.
like seeing the culture, Mexicans, because I grew up in a Mexican family. It felt very, what's the word? It was nostalgic. It just felt like, I think I got emotional in parts of the film just because of the culture.
Yeah.
Not even necessarily, yeah, it's inspiring too, but it was more so just seeing how hard, being reminded how hard Latinos work just to get these extra opportunities and they have to pave the way, for the
Yeah.
culture. And that was just the most inspiring thing, to just feel that, it's beautiful.
there's a line pretty early on. There's a line where he says when they're showing the Cholo aspect of his life, and he says don't come at me by saying that why Mexicans always gotta be gangsters, because I didn't make this up, this was real. And there's just something about every aspect. If you had told me before I watched this movie, oh yeah, there's this new Mexican movie coming out, and the main guy's a janitor, and he also used to be a Cholo, and I'd be like, this feels pretty stereotypical.
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan, but fucking Eva pulls it off where it feels authentic and real.
I was just gonna say,
It feels so real.
to Liam's point, I mean, I love the main acting, but I will say behind every great man is a woman, and Eva
Judy,
Longoria, well, Judy too, but Eva really
Jude.
carried. I think Eva knew exactly the kind of film that she was going to make coming into this.
think so.
I felt everything was economically in terms of from a shot perspective, gotten to get the story across and to really be truthful to the storytelling of it. I felt like there was a little bit of an element, and Eva, I hope if you ever see this that you kind of can speak to this a little bit too, but of a superhero element, and there's a moment where Richard Montañez is talking, and he's saying, and I think he's talking to his son, and he basically is saying they're expecting you to be less, and your superpower is that you're not less. You're not less than any of them, and that was such a. I think to your point, that felt like my family. That felt like my family is not an excuses people by any means. They're not a person who is well, this is my situation, so it's just gonna be it. That's what I find stereotypically to be kind of annoying when I watch Black and Latinos in 90s and early 2000s films and television. It's always oh well, they just lost hope. They're just a product of their whatever.
Yeah.
And granted, everybody's got a story, but I will say my family was much more like this. Watching Judy contemplate how to take care of her family, but also trusting her man throughout this project was like, that's a big part. I know for people who come from like 2-parent households, like that was something that we had to watch on a regular, was our parents kind of figure out together how they
would
were
make this work. Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So
Spoilers?
Well, is Monk Latino?
No, he's Italian.
he's
I knew it.
He's also Lebanese, I think. We can verify this, but he's a
Can we verify Monk's nationality and ethnicity, please?
Tony
Thank
Chávez.
you. And he plays an Italian, or I mean,
He
Yeah.
plays an Italian guy in this. Yeah. Shout out Monk, Tony Shalhoub. He plays
Yep.
the CEO of PepsiCo,
Roger Enrico. Yep. Great job.
Yeah.
It was when
Lebanese,
I saw him.
you were right.
Okay, cool. It took me a couple of times where I was watching him. I was like, because I just watched Marvelous Miss Maisel, which he's fantastic
yeah.
on. Big Amy Sherman Palladino fan, and it's always incredible to watch these actors, with such great niche character. Not niche, they're great freaking actors, and
Yeah.
which means that they can play a lot of range of characters. And I just really nice to see him in a film that traditionally, is. If this movie is a bootstraps movie about pulling Latinos pulling themselves up by the bootstraps, it also is. It talks a lot to the production to make a movie like this happen. I don't think that this is a movie that just easily gets greenlit in Hollywood.
Right.
No.
Yeah.
What was the budget for this guy? Do we know?
We cannot find it.
Can we get the budget for the film after we get the ethnicity of Mr. Shalhoub?
We got that. He's
Lebanese and
Lebanese.
Italian?
Lebanese, yeah.
Strictly.
He's strictly Lebanese?
I don't see any Italian here. On
Interesting. Okay.
It says raised in a Lebanese
He's
household.
famous for playing Italians. He played Guido in Cars 1, 2, and 3.
He plays
I also
Jude.
believe he
And Guido's
voices him
Italian?
for a brief moment in the Disney Plus television show Cars on the Road. I have a 3-year-old.
So I think we can safely get into spoiler territory.
Spoilers! Woo!
Getting hot.
And
Woo! I need a Mountain Dew for this.
Chug. I'm gonna puff myself again.
Mountain Dew.
This is number 3.
Do the Do, a
This is
product
not
of PepsiCo
sponsored.
/
This is
Frito
not
Lay.
Sponsored. Stop it. Is this sponsored?
I can't with you guys. I think
Sponsor us,
I'm going to
please.
get into just something that, because we were talking about family, and I just really love the family aspect of this a lot. So I really love, there's a couple of things, but the main thing I love is the father dynamic and how they employed this. This is a lot different than White Man Can't Jump, where I feel like I had a lot of issues with how they employed the use of having this father-son dynamic.
Let's go to the cut. Can we get a clip of that real quick?
Yeah, let's go to the clip of White Man Can't Jump.
For
sure.
I was actually really confused about what the role of the dad was in it. And now, I mean,
They need the money. This one has a lot more dad stuff.
A lot of that. Yeah, there's like a whole. But again, like I think that like that subplot keeps everything still
Worked.
focused on
Yeah.
basketball, still focused on like love of the game and everything. Like the Jeopardy man, that's just
It's so weird.
it's so strange.
Yeah.
Lance Riddick, guys.
Lance.
R.I.P. Lance Reddick. Lance Reddick,
He's great in it.
he's fantastic. Like all of his scenes, he is the scene stealer.
Yeah.
And he's got it starts he's got a little bit of a range throughout this film.
Yeah.
I know.
For
Yeah,
as
he really
little
does.
as we see him, I mean,
he's
he
in
kind of has a
3
whole,
scenes.
Yeah.
4 if you count like a flashback. But
Yeah.
But he plays such a big part in, I think, what we're watching with, and is it Quentin Wallace who is the lead with Jamal's character?
Let's look up Kamal in the new White Man Can't Jump. And we're
And
back.
we're back. So
Pretty hot take for that one.
What I loved about this film is you meet Vacho, who is the father and kind of like this Cholo old school. And like the first time you meet him, I think is when you hear the dad, or the first time you meet him is Richard has to go meet with his dad. Basically, Judy is like,
The first time I meet him, he's a kid.
oh yes,
Yeah,
yes,
he beat the
yes.
shit out of him. Yeah.
So he comes home drunk.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
yeah.
Vacho is short for borracho. Yeah.
Oh, you remember that line well.
Of course. Yeah, dude.
It's a great job, I think, of implementing how a shadow kind of cast on Richard without kind of completely demonizing a father or anything like that. We're seeing pieces.
Yeah.
So we see that, and then we see him have to go ask his dad, and his dad is like, "You need to get your shit together. You need to like work."
His dad found Jesus now. When Richard becomes an adult, his dad is all of a sudden, I never drank and beat the shit out of you. I love
Do you
Jesus
guys
now.
have
Most
family
of them
members
do.
like that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone.
They all
yeah.
become religious down the line
It's
somewhere.
just like,
And it's hard because it's like like I want to reconcile like this new version of you, but you also have this mightier than thou attitude. Like you didn't cause a lot of issues in the beginning.
We're about to take. If we're about to make some flaming hot religion takes, I got you.
Let's not go there.
Let's not go there. All I'll say is
that's
that
a whole different pod.
All I'll say, and then I think it's very clear with Vacho is that I think the problem is that like I'm so happy you found this for you. But it doesn't seem like you have made any reconciliation to what you did to me.
Yeah.
So like you like just because you are forgiven doesn't mean that like we are cool. You have to still come to terms with what you did. And he's still not
taking care of his son in the way that his son needs him to. His son needs what Judy provides. Oh, this is my favorite part. Freaking Richard says, you have been the voice in my head for so long. And I wanted to cry, bro, because I was just like, that shit hit on a different level. And when Judy hears that, because Judy at that point is just like, I need my husband to get it together. But she hears that and something clicks in her and she says, fuck you, Vacho. I'm going to be the voice in my husband's head from now on.
Oh,
and then
man,
she is team him for the rest of the way through. My God.
Queen.
So powerful.
Good. Queen.
And then...
Oh my God.
And I love the way that they pepper this in through the rest of this. And the movie that I can think about, like that gives me sensibilities of this is actually Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. Because I think America Ferrera has a similar kind of storyline with her father being uninvolved and having to finally have that conversation with her father. But I really love how in the end, you kind of hear Vacho has been calling, trying to talk to his son. And he's like, nah, I'm good. But finally... he's about to go have that meeting with Enrico. He needs to get his tie on. And Judy says, well, you know the guy who can do your tie, right? And it's Vacho. And Vacho tells his son, you know, like, I am sorry that I wasn't there to listen to you. Like, it's just this moment. And you see Richard, the freaking kudos to the acting in that scene specifically. Because how hard is it when the person who has literally been wronging you in some way emotionally, who has not been there for you, is the same person who's finally saying the thing you need him to say. But at this point, it's like almost... part of the reason why you fight so hard to prove yourself is because you had that voice the whole way through saying you weren't good enough.
Yeah, it was emotional. And it's interesting that you bring up White Men Can't Jump because I didn't even think about that. But I think Vacho is in as many scenes as Lance Reddick was in White Men Can't Jump. I think they're almost like the same. It's like a flashback scene at the beginning, and then it's modern day, and it's one more modern day. But just the way that Linda and Eva like make this character work, all like he's never wasted. I think he's in 4 scenes total. All 4 scenes are just like so they perfect arc of this character.
One thing I love so much about character films is like I think there is like when you do a film right, you see relatability between you as a person and a film. Like that's like what we're looking for too. And I think what those last 2 movies have kind of shown to me, and I think Little Mermaid does this as well, with Ariel trying to forge a lane for herself away from her father and having her father kind of come to terms with that, is parents really are such a shadow marker on our life story. You know, they have such influence. They are part of this mentor kind of aspect, but it's like they really are a smaller part of our story. And like we live in a world right now where there's a lot of accountability being placed on family. There's a lot of like therapy being talked about with family and things like that. But at a certain point, you do have to resolve yourself to move your life forward ahead, taking the lessons that they either have or haven't learned. I don't know about you guys, but I just feel like from an immigrant standpoint, from a Latino standpoint and a Black standpoint, that like our relationship with our families are very interesting. And at the end of the day, very complex. And I'm sure like majority families feel this too. But there is an added, I think, layer of survival added to our dynamic.
100%.
And I think this movie did such a great job of just reminding us of what the strength of a family is. I'm going to shut up now.
Generational curses, right?
Breaking generational trauma, baby.
Trauma, breaking generational trauma.
I like curses though too.
Curses too.
They are curses. Vacho, fantastic. You know, we keep talking about Judy though. Let's really dive into Judy.
Can we? I'm gonna for the rest of my life.
Get to the Judy?
For the rest of my life, I'm gonna do. What would Judy do? Like if
WWJD,
I'm dating someone and it's like WWJD, you know?
You better be the Judy.
You better be my Judy,
Richard.
Is Judy the standard now?
Judy
is non-negotiable.
Come on.
Respectfully,
Judy's a standard.
Did Judy have a job?
Huh?
Yeah, she was. Remember,
she was raising the kids. She was working at Target.
She was
working at Target.
Was it Target? We don't know if it's Target. We know it's some kind of retail.
I saw it.
She was wearing a red vest, but we don't know.
No, it's Target.
Is it?
It's Target. I made sure.
The only thing I'm going to say about the prototype of Judy, I think she's a great character and a great one side of a mom and wife, but like there are wives who have career ambitions just like their husband, and like we didn't get to see that storyline here because that's not their story. But let's not say she's the end all be all. I mean, respectfully.
I
got a Judy hater.
like you said,
we got a
behind
Judy
every
hater.
man is a great woman, and that was Judy behind
1000%.
her husband
And
and
she was
his
lifting him up every time he needed
his
it.
1000%.
And
I
she stuck with
admire
him.
her.
Queen.
I love that they show her at the beginning and the end, and that we see her that they've been together. I think like 48 years
Yeah,
at that
it's
point.
crazy.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if we're saying that she is the blueprint for all women, I'm gonna stand up here and just say
I think she's the blueprint for all relationships because
Yes.
I feel like Judy, honey, I know you. I feel like even if the story was that Judy was going to, I'm talking directly. I'm not talking to the actress that played Judy. I'm talking to
The
Judy
character.
Montañez, the
Yes.
real human being.
Yes.
Richard Montañez's wife. I'm sure that even if the story was different and like Judy had huge career aspirations that she was also working on, that wouldn't deter from her faith and loyalty in Richard.
100%.
but hold on, like if we're really gonna go there, like the issue that I would propose to you is, first of all, this was Richard's story, so like we're not seeing
Yeah.
a full
Richard's
picture
story.
here.
Right.
But like imagine being Judy, and like if she had aspirations that were like she had her own version of like a Frito Flamin Hot that she wanted to do, but she can't do that because her husband, she's got to pick her husband's
I don't
ambitions
think
right
Judy
now.
would have done that.
No, and
I'm
I
saying
I think
that-
if Judy had that goal, she would have done it. Judy could do anything she wants.
exactly, and I want to be the Judy to whoever I'm with.
Exactly. I want to be a Judy.
I want to have my own thing, but
someone
also
else's
guess
Richard.
what? Exactly, we can build this together.
Exactly.
And I trust you.
That's what it is. It's the trust.
You know what?
It was the loyalty. It was the togetherness.
Yes.
They were a team.
I need a
they
woman
they were a
matriarch
true
movie, and I
team.
want to see this happen in that Latino woman matriarch movie, because I just think that the sceneness of that is not present in this movie, nor did it need to be. But I get completely that Judy is the matriarch of this, and she's supporting her husband, and she's behind him. That's what he needed.
Yeah.
He needed that. Look at him. He had no other support.
He didn't have anyone else.
No.
She
And
was the
how
Judy
beautiful.
to his
And I will
bloom.
say, in his own way.
You guys missed that.
Wait, what'd you say?
She was the Judy to his bloom. Just saying.
Bravo, Jasmine.
Was she
Flamin'
not,
hot.
though?
Flamin' hot.
He bloomed. He blossomed with
He
Judy
did,
behind
he did.
him.
I will say that like in to show the team, to show that it's a team, because like if you keep
Yes.
saying one person is supporting another person, that's not really a team. But I think to show the teamwork, like he never blew off anything she said as like this stupid woman. Like
Yeah.
he was like, you're gonna get into prayer, fine. We'll light this candle. I'm gonna get into prayer.
Yeah.
I think this is why it's really important to really know who your partner is to start a family, because I think this film does a great job of outlining it. It's a film, granted, but like I do think it shows the basic kind of outline of what you're looking for. So I appreciate you guys, because here's the deal, right? Judy gets on board with him and helps him, right? His kid helps him by
Yeah.
virtue. This is something that we see. His other kid, his oldest kid, who has an issue with, why do we have to do so much Mexican stuff? Why
Yeah.
do we have to be all of this? He's dealing with being bullied for being Mexican. He's having
Yeah.
a different experience, but somewhat the same experience. But even him, to see his family work so hard together and see how much it means to them, finally to come back and be like, oh, okay, well, market it. Here's my money for the commercial,
Yeah.
which,
Oh my god, to go from, and that's the thing, everyone in this film, every minor character had such a good little arc.
Yeah.
Like the kid went from, I hate being Mexican because I'm being made fun of it, to I'm going to give my life savings, which is like $20
Yeah, dude,
for
come
a
on.
kid. I'm going to give my life savings to my dad to market this Mexican product. Like even Lonnie, Matt Walsh,
Everything is paying off.
Matt
Yeah.
Walsh's character.
Yeah, I love Matt
the,
Walsh.
The floor manager, Lonnie, he had a great arc. He went from like, I'm gonna like reluctantly hire this Mexican guy, who I'm also gonna kind of like verbally abuse
For sure.
call him illiterate,
Yeah.
to I'm gonna be a part of, like I'm gonna support him and be a part of his rise by giving him the clipboard. I'm giving him the power. Yeah, dude, Lonnie, shout out Lonnie.
and shout out Dennis Haybert, who is, as you might
Shout
know
out
him
the
as
Allstate guy.
Oh my
Allstate
god!
guy.
And he was a Judy in his own way. You know?
Yes.
He really was a Judy in his
was-
own way.
He
Yeah.
played his cards close to his chest in the beginning, which we all should.
As you
know, he does make someone. All right, I'm not just going to respect you immediately. You got to earn this.
Yeah.
You know, I got to make sure that you're not fronting.
Yeah.
And then once you have him, once you got a Judy, Judy's not going to leave.
Not leave. Never.
No. And that he gives that final speech, and we see the same shot 15 times. I'm going to be honest about where they're looking out and they're in they're at the factory, and it's like that whatever.
Looking over the whole factory.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But he gives that speech, and I'm like, God, he's got a Judy at home, he's got a Judy at the office. This is all he could ask for success.
I'm so happy you
Two
brought that
Judys.
up because there's a faith element in this film that I really love, and I just think it's always great in like a wish fulfillment or a Baxter Richards story that there is some element of like divine intervention, and that comes in the play of at first he makes fun of his wife when she wants to order the candle. He's like, fuck that candle, basically. But then later they're praying, and I love this moment where they're praying together, and they're like, the guy's like, can you hurry the freak up? He's like, excuse me, we're praying here.
It's like he's praying pendejo.
Because
good line.
truthfully, I just think that is a big part of Latino culture, and like we know we have our cultural divides about like where we sit on religion these days, but I do think that there is some type of faith that is beautiful to hold into this equation of success and hold into this equation of doing it. Like it can't all be you. Like if you fail or die by you, that's such a depressing way of. There's got to there is a little bit of help that can come your way, and I love that the movie kind of highlighted this film with that a little bit, just a little bit. Guys, we got to wrap this up. Yeah, we do.
Such a good time.
I think that we're having a great conversation with brand movies, but I also think to your guys' point, we have a lot more brand movies to review. So we can keep having this conversation and really real time kind of give our opinions on what we think.
Here's a quick question I have for y'all.
Oh.
What brand do you want a movie about?
Great question, Mike.
Let's do this.
Trojan condoms.
I would watch the hell out of that, actually.
Yeah.
I would watch that.
Universal will probably make that
Leave
movie.
it up to a man to say such a thing.
I would love that.
And it's called Unbreakable.
Yeah.
Wow. Definitely not true.
Chekhov's gun going off.
There it is.
Love it.
Nair hair cream.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Listen, any women's products that were getting made in a time where people didn't care about women that much, I'm fascinated, and give me all of that.
I love it.
Oreos.
Nice.
Okay.
I like 'em.
Ooh, I got
All
one
right.
more. I got one more. Sorry. For Loco.
Ew.
That's
Yeah.
got some shit.
Oh,
Four
yeah.
Loko, I would like.
The
because
rise
I'd
and
like
fall
to,
of Four Loko.
Yeah.
like, what happens when you like have this successful product that everybody likes, and then you're told, oh, but also, F you, shut this down immediately.
People are dying, but they're having so much fun while they're dying. So
Okay, cool.
Oh, that's really good.
Mike,
I don't know mine.
well, yeah, how are you gonna ask me?
I asked it,
My
yeah.
mom is way.
I'm going to go with...
Everything made in Taiwan.
Dead air.
check
Dead
off.
air,
What do you got?
Dead air.
Dead air.
you got?
I don't know. I haven't really thought of. I'm on board with being kind of somewhat worried about brand movies. So it would have to be a brand that isn't popular. Like I like Oreos, but it would like what's the people against Oreo, the rival, Nabisco. What's that called? It's
Nabisco.
Nabisco makes Oreo.
there's a
Oh yeah.
there's like a really
Like a Mexican
off-brand-
Oreo.
Yeah,
Not. It's like the
there's a
knockoff.
Jozo's? Trader Joe's? Trader Joe's. I want to watch a Trader Joe's movie.
Can I just say,
yeah.
I want a Trader Joe's movie, but I want it fictionalized. I want it done like
the Weird Al?
Pirates of the Caribbean, Jungle Cruise. I want to see Trader Joe, and he's out there fucking
And I
finding the
think
best
that's-
flavors in the jungle,
I wanna
and he's
see-
fighting off gorillas. And yeah, I want to see the
I
Trader
think
Joe
that this
movie.
movie is low key a little bit of that fantastical element.
A
of
little
it.
bit, yeah.
And I will say this: we are living in a time where everybody on social media who's good at social media has realized one thing: they're not good at social media; they're good at marketing. So it
Yeah.
is interesting that we are getting a lot of movies in the marketing spirit. In the what is the word that we called when we like went from to the West Coast? It was like
Manifest Destiny.
It's very manifest destiny that we're giving right now, and I think it's
giving
more
manifest
supply and demand. I think the more that we're seeing people want to agent themselves and learn. I mean, a story about some of the best freaking companies that the U.S. has created or that has been created. I think that is a very fascinating thing to tell movies about.
I think it'd be interesting if there was a brand movie that wasn't approved by the brand that necessarily like showed
Yes.
kind of the bad side of the brand, or
Yes.
like what the brand did to maybe hurt the workers.
Social
or-
network, maybe.
Social
He's like,
Network
I
had
need
a
to
good
see
vibe.
Yeah.
Well,
Blame the brand.
that's interesting to me because it's like that's kind of what BlackBerry seems like.
Yeah.
But like clearly they had to give their sign off on it. So
Yeah.
I feel like what's interesting is that with the brand movies is that these brands are basically having to weigh, well, what's like how much do I want this huge PR versus like letting the artist kind of tell the true story. Like I think Blackberry, perfect example. They're like, hey, like you want to make a crazy story about our insane founder and have Glenn Howerton play him, the dude from It's Always Sunny.
Yeah.
Like, sure, make it, because no one said the word Blackberry in 5 years, and now everyone's gonna be saying it. You know, like
has.
Guys,
Now they're gonna
can we
come out
go
with
see
a new
Blackberry together?
phone.
Because I'm seeing that it's in.
Do they have a new
It's
phone?
out.
if it's in
It's
theaters still, let's go
coming.
watch it.
Let's go
It's
to
gonna
the
be the new
Alamo.
iPhone. Watch.
All right, guys, we gotta go watch
Blackberry
a movie.
Touch.
We're gonna probably watch Blackberry and every other brand movie. We might
Rankings?
have a lot of T-shirts, and we're gonna do rank. We
gotta give our ratings. We gotta give our
Wait,
official
you know,
ratings.
you really quick. You know what movie I want to see? The inventor
Teletubbies.
of the very first vibrator. That would be. I want to know
Buzz, buzz.
who and when.
You know what's interesting about that is that you don't even have to make that a brand. Like you could
It
like
doesn't have to be a
Yeah.
brand.
just some
Just
vibrator.
the first vibrator to ever exist.
Very
You want to see how it gets
Who did
made
that?
or how it gets
You know,
used?
there's- have
I'm
you heard that-
curious.
I want to see how somebody came up with it, where it came.
Well, have
who
you
came
heard
up
that,
with
that
it.
there's like an urban myth that Cleopatra put she had a log that she would put angry bees into so it would
No,
literally
they found
shake.
sex artifacts of rocks, of dildo-shaped rocks. That's real. This is a
Yeah,
real.
they've been-
Okay, we gotta go watch a movie. So we're gonna
Rankings.
give you ranks
We're gonna
real
give you
quick.
our rank.
You
Okay.
guys know
Maybe
that
we
we
should
go.
watch documentaries.
I know.
So we got a ranking system, is essentially 1 through 5. We've heard it. Mike has explained it a couple of times. He might explain it again, but
1 through 5. 1,
Bet.
bored. 2, not bored. 3, entertained. 4, impressed. 5, not just entertained, but somehow reborn.
Nice.
wow.
I'm gonna go with a solid 3.8.
3.8. So you were almost
Almost
impressed the whole time.
Almost, but I
Okay.
have ADD, so I was kind of zoning in and
Yeah.
out.
So that's more of a fault on you than the
It's
movie.
probably me. It's not the movie. It's me.
All right, Mike.
Okay, all right. I'm gonna go just a solid 3, just a straight 3.
Yeah.
No half, no 0.8. Just I was entertained all the way through. At no point was I like, wow, I'm super impressed with this.
Yeah.
It's weird. I'm a fangirl of movies, and so 3 is for me a stellar.
Yeah.
Like this was
Most
entertaining.
movies are a 3, I
really
think, yeah.
enjoyed it. There was nothing about this movie that really stood out for me in terms of like cinematography, in terms of story, in terms of anything that would justify me saying this is an Oscar contender,
Right, yeah.
or anything like that. That being said, I do think it was a really strong added foray into this space, and I enjoyed it.
Solid. Yep. 3 for me.
Great.
3 for me.
3's across the board.
Yeah.
3.8 over here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, all 3 of you said 3?
Yeah.
3 in the year, 3.8.
But
Yeah,
you know
they're
what? We've learned very much that we are movie critic nerds over here, and you are just a beautiful, lovely watcher of movies.
I mean, I'm also
movie nerd.
maybe I'm not a nerd, but I'm still a critic.
Yeah.
you are a
Yeah.
critic.
For
She's
me,
a critic, but here's the
I-
thing. She's
I-
also a working actress, so
Yeah.
she's
It's
gonna get
that-
everything a
This
little
is a
higher
film you
because she
would say
wants
yes to.
she wants to
Yeah,
get
she's
people.
political.
Yeah, she wants the directors. She wants Eva Longoria to watch this and be like,
Yes.
she liked
No,
it.
for
She's got a
sure.
part.
Okay, the 0.8 part comes from Latin female director.
There we go.
Shout out
Yeah.
Eva
There we
Longoria. And just the culture, because representing Mexicans, like that for me did it. I
Yeah.
would put the 0.8 for my people.
I'm so excited to see a lot of people watch this movie. I hope that they see
hope
themselves
they
in
do.
it. I hope that
Yeah.
it inspires them to write movies for themselves that they can see themselves in.
I
Because
mean, yeah, it's
you don't-
representation is unmatched.
you don't have to be like a freaking superhero with actual powers, or you don't
Yeah.
have to be like a drug addict to have a movie told.
Yeah. I almost cried during we mentioned it, but that scene where where his son says like, "Why do we always have to do Mexican shit?" Like,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've said that exact thing to my dad. My dad picked me up from school in his beat up ass Toyota truck, white Toyota truck that was like smoking from the back.
Yeah.
And like, I had a dad to pick me up from school. That's awesome. He like came home from work early. But I remember being like so embarrassed and like, why is this Mexican shit?
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm happy that she put it in the movie because
Oh my
it's like,
god, you're just bringing up, and I know we gotta go, but like just real quickly, a shout out to our dads because Father's Day is coming up soon.
oh yeah,
And I
shout
just
out to the
love that
dads.
guy.
My
And-
dad was an Air Force dude who had this passion to be a DJ, and he, in every sense of the world, made sure that he took care of us financially and took care of us from a career standpoint to take care of our family for a long time. But he never let his passion go. And I watched this man every day after work go set up his like DJ booth, go get ready to go to a wedding or
That's
a party
dope.
or anything like
King.
that. So like shout out to DJ Code Red.
Dude, Mountain Dew.
It all ties back.
Oh my
Pepsi
God.
Frito Lay, baby. What about your dad?
Yeah, I don't have a relationship with my dad. Daddy issues, that's fine. Shout out to the present fathers, though. Shout out to you
Shout out
guys.
to the present
Shout
fathers.
out to the Inky boys. I know this is probably, it's been a year, but Bryce the Dice, his father passed away. They were such a great team. I just wanted to give a moment to that. Like,
Absolutely.
God bless.
Bryce, your
And
Me Too family is really here for
Bryce has a huge career ahead of him.
Yes.
I'm sure your father's super proud. And just shout out to the fathers that are seriously present in their kids' lives.
Shout out to Mike.
100%.
He's the father on
This
screen.
Mikey!
Right now.
I'm a dad.
Happy
Sometimes I
Father's
forget.
Day.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
a father who very much shields his kids because he's very like it's just beautiful. It's really beautiful how you actively choose to parent your children.
Much thanks.
Yeah.
Liam,
Yeah,
dad.
love my dad. Great guy, strong, showing up for everything. Talk to him as much as I can, and he's a hustler, 100%.
Nice.
100% a hustler, and that's where we all get it. So,
And what about your kids, Liam?
and my 4 kids, I don't talk to them. And
Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's
Yeah.
Day. Happy Me
Do
Too
better.
Movies Day, guys, because I just called it that. And
Me Too on Movie
we'll
Day.
see you later.
Thursday is Me Too on Movies Day from now on.
Yeah, I want to watch Blackberry. We're going.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Right now. We did it, y'all.